Hey yo, what up, fans of the fucking sport? It's Lamech with Selah Sports TV back at it again. Shit. Um, so as you probably have heard, TNT has lost the rights to NBA basketball, and they've lost those rights to NBC, which I find pretty pretty fucking awesome. Yeah, we going back to that. So I think it's awesome. I it's not that I wasn't a fan. Here's what I would have preferred. I would have preferred ESPN lose their deal, lose their NBA rights deal, and TNT keep theirs. Like that would have been much better for the average fan, for the real basketball fan, the true basketball fan, not necessarily the fanboy, but basketball fans. I think probably would have preferred that, right? But we know this comes down to money. NBC had more of it than TNT was willing to fork over. So here we are. But I have a somewhat nuanced take on why this could also be happening, right? Um, maybe, just gonna throw this out there, right? You see the two guys circled on this thumbnail, right? Those two guys were pretty pivotal in this show's success, right? But I think it came at a detriment to the NBA players, right? I think it came at a detriment to NBA players. Um, and this is a lot of what came first, the chicken or the egg type conversation. So I'll leave that up to you to decide. You drop your comments because this is going to be it's kind of interesting. It just is interesting when I think about it, right? Why am I singling these two guys out, Shaq and Charles Barkley? Well, first let's talk about Charles Barkley. Charles Barkley has been phenomenal on inside the NBA, right? He's been awesome. He's been absolutely he's been great. He's been great on that show. You can't even when you think of that show, you think of Charles Barkley, right? Um Shaq to a much lesser extent, well, maybe not much less, but to a lesser extent, I could say the same thing about him. He's been pretty good on TV. He's been very good on TV. The guy's pretty funny. Um, so why am I singling them out, right? I'm singling these guys out because while they do a good job of promoting, I won't say promoting themselves, they do a good job of making a good showing of themselves, right? Just like I said, Charles Barkley is excellent on TV. Shaq is excellent on TV. But what was their job? Their job was to promote these stars in the NBA, right? Their job was to promote these stars in the NBA and by extension, promote the league, right? Now, how good of a job have they done at that? I'm going to say not too. When you think about it in that context, these guys haven't really done a good job in setting the table for these young guys. In fact, I take a step further and say they've kind of hurt these players. They hurt these players quite a bit. Like before everything got so fucked up the way it is now, with LeBron James and him spazzing out and like all this player empowerment bullshit. Like before all that, when Kobe Bryant was still running around dominating, right? When Kobe was still there, these guys were still in place, right? These guys were there when Kobe was there, but the league was different. It was still a basketball league. It was still sports at that time. It was still sports, right? But they were there, and it wasn't as bad as it is now, right? Remember, I'm saying Kobe was in the league for a reason because we know the league that Kobe was in. We know the type shit that uh like Kobe wasn't a part of this cupcake um era. He really wasn't. Like that Miami Heat shit came at the tail end of Kobe's career pretty much. Right? So I'm saying all that to say, even though the league wasn't nearly as fucked up as it is now, right? Those guys were still roasting players every night on TNT. Those guys were still going in on players, disrespecting players, um, just saying all types of foul shit about young players, right? And just as a fuck basketball, just as an older guy, you cannot do that to the youth. You can't treat them that way and expect them to respect you, your legacy, right? Guys, other men from your legacy, all those guys that paved the way, that they should be respecting. Once you attack them, you basically bring you. It's like it's warfare. Nobody's gonna sit there and let you disrespect them every night, and still give you respect that you feel like you deserve. Nobody did that to you guys when you were players. And don't give me this shit that these guys were perfect. Don't give me that shit. Because we know that's bullshit. We know for a fact that's bullshit. Right? Both of these guys had problems with their weight. Right? Both those guys had problems with their weight. Charles Barkley never won a championship. I don't blame him for that. Charles Barkley was an excellent player, great player. He won a gold medal on the Dream Team and was probably the best player on that Dream Team. A Dream Team that had Magic and Michael Jordan. I feel like Charles Barkley outplayed them all. Now, he was mean as shit in that Olympics, but hey. And the world stage wasn't nearly what it is now. So I'll leave that there, right? But still, Charles Barkley was knocking guys out in bars, throwing people through pane glass windows and shit. Shaq was out here partying every night. But now, now that you got the gray beard, you have the high ground to get up there and just disrespect all these young guys. And that was the beginning of the end of the league, right? Now, I know a lot of you guys are saying, well, these young guys don't deserve respect. They don't deserve respect, and they don't deserve this, and look at how they acting. And, a lot of what you're saying, I get it. I get what you're saying, but like I started this thing off to say, they came through the door like that. These guys were already every night they were on there, they were taking shots at players. Before this is before what's the terminology they have now? Where you resting players, all that resting players and shit. I can't think of the word. You know what I mean? That shit that they try to pin on Kawhi Leonard. Resting healthy players and shit like that. Before that even was a thing, these guys were slamming players every night. Every night they were gonna pick a game and talk shit about somebody. And humiliate them. Shaq a fool, and the way he used to pick on JaVale McGee, the way he used to pick on Shaq used to pick on Dwight Howard. Like what? He was picking on Dwight Howard at the height of his fucking career. When Dwight Howard was playing ball, going to the finals, eliminating LeBron James, he still found a reason and a way to slam that guy. That's not your fucking job. That's not your job. And if you think I'm caping for Dwight Howard, you lost your fucking mind. It ain't about that. It's not about who I like, who I don't like. It ain't about that. Dwight Howard's a fucking weirdo. He was a star in the league at that point, though. At that time, he was a star in the NBA. There's no way you can be on TV every night basically bullying. You have the microphone and he don't. Like a lot of things they did, I just disagree with. I remember when Donovan Mitchell was on fire. He was still in Utah. and Donovan Mitchell took the league by storm. And Donovan Mitchell had a big playoff game. He wins the game for Utah, and then he got to sit down and talk to fucking Shaq. And the first thing Shaq says is, "I don't really think you got it. I don't believe in you." And it's like, what? I don't think you could do it. So that's your fucking job? Like, what is that? You a fucking journalist. Or analyst, at least. Right? You an analyst. But he's on there giving opinions and shit, and like, and he basically did the same thing to Joker the other day. He basically did the same thing to Joker the other day on the same night that he wins MVP. It's like, bro. You got to see how that looks, man. People don't like. You got to give these young dudes their credit. That's why they don't give you credit. That's why they disrespect your legacy, and they don't give a fuck about the old players. They don't pay homage to the old players. Because you guys, it's the same thing out here. Like, now, it's one thing if we're seeing people just doing stupid shit. I'm not saying don't address it. But come on. I mean, he was talking shit about the worst shit about Dwight Howard, and that dude was in the MVP race. He was like fighting for championships and shit, going to the finals. Like, why are you doing that? You know, Charles Barkley, they still doing it. Charles Barkley goes on a rant against Coach Mike Malone the other day. He goes on a rant, temper tantrums, and like, it's not about you. It's not about you. So I think what happened is these guys, the success kind of went to their head a little bit. And, you know, when people love your personality, like, you know, I'm sure Charles Barkley has heard, he hears it everywhere. Oh, Charles, his personality, you know, they love that type of shit. They love guys like Charles Barkley, you know? You know what I mean? And look, I like Charles Barkley. I'm not going to say I don't, but I know what he's doing. I know what he is. I'm not fooled about it. I'm not fooled, right? I'm just not. I'm not on that. You know, I'm not. But yeah. It'll be interesting to see if they can keep that show. I don't think so. But I wouldn't mind if they did, just because, honestly, out of default, because I'm honestly kind of worried about what's NBC gonna do. Like, they weren't the biggest fanboy. They did kind of, NBC kind of started the fanboy commentator, but it was at such a, like, compared to what we see now, we wouldn't even call that fanboyism. You know, like the Ahmad Rashad type shit. Ahmad Rashad was in Jordan back pocket, right? You know, Marv Albert's Jordan, yes. Like, they was a little Jordan crazy a little bit, right? But that's why timing is key, because the old man is on his way out of the league, right? So they're gonna be hard pressed to like give him the Jordan treatment at this time. In fact, we kind of see he's getting the opposite of Jordan. LeBron James, the media has turned on him, right? The media is completely turned on him. So I wouldn't expect that. Now, who would they tab to be the next guy, right? People say it's gonna be Luka, it's gonna be Joker, it's gonna be this person, that. I think that's gonna be tough. I think it's gonna be tough. Skill wise, absolutely, it could definitely be one of those guys, but they don't speak the fucking language, right? It's gonna be hard to make a guy the face of the league that doesn't speak the language. Part of being the face in the league is like endorsements and all that commercialism shit. It's gonna be hard to package those guys up, and sell them to Americans. It just is. So I don't know about that. Now, if it's based solely on talent, yeah, hey, yeah, you know, um, SGA. I'm not sure. I'm not sure about SGA. That I mean, we'll see. I don't really give a fuck about the celebrity shit. I don't care. The only the only regards that I do care about that is how are they going to cover the games, right? Because depending on who we see now, depending on who the face of the league is, they're going to cover the games a certain way, right? LeBron, I mean, I'm just going to say it. Like his skills, he relies on physicality pretty much. His basketball game is not graceful at all. He turns the ball over. He's not a pure shooter. He's not a pure shooter. I don't care how many threes he jack up. LeBron James is not a pure. He's not a guy who like says, "All right, I'm just going to get to that elbow right there, and that's where I'm going to pull up from." Nah, he's not. He doesn't do that. It's once he get there, he's taking it all the way. He's going to run you over under the basket. Everything is a run you over. Either back to the basket, run you over, or run you over, freight train, run you over type shit. Or jacking up the threes and shit. That's LeBron's game. So when you play like that with so many, and then he's had the meltdowns that he's had, and I'm just saying we know his career, and we see how he plays defense. We just see LeBron. We see him. So yeah, he's gonna need help. He's gonna need help from the commentators, the networks, the commissioner, right? Other teams, GMs. It's gonna take a collective effort to make him look good. It's gonna take a collective effort. And for a long time, I'm like, why are they selling out the whole league for this guy? The reason why is because they already invested in him. Like if they would have ditched him, see now they can ditch him. And that's what you see happening. But before, it's like, wait, we still milking this motherfucker. We still milking this cow, bro. So we gotta shine him up and roll him back out there. Other players, Kobe, LeBron, Dirk Nowitzki, Steve Nash, Tim Duncan, Hakeem Olajuwon, Magic Johnson, Kareem. Like, these guys did not need that. They were naturals at the game of basketball. That ain't saying they was just going to win it every year, but they was going to figure it out. And you respect them for that. It wasn't no sending emails and trying to get people to vote for them for MVP. It's like, hey, you don't vote for me. I don't give a fuck. Jordan wasn't out there chasing greatness. Jordan wasn't out there chasing greatness. He wasn't chasing no legacy. He wasn't chasing after nobody's ghost. He wasn't chasing shit. He was trying to kick your ass on the court. Every second he was out there, if you got the ball, he's shutting you down. And if he got it, he busting your ass. Pause. No diddy. That's what his motivation was. He like, look, all the rest of that shit, we going to figure that out at the end. Even now, he still has that. Kobe, the same thing. I don't care where you rate me. I'm going to go out there and bust your ass. And that's going to speak for itself. It's not, no, let's change everybody's mind and let's lobby for this and lobby for that. Right? But anyway, I digress. I think those guys did play somewhat of a part. I know it basically comes down to money. But I think also, I think they put a little toxicity in the water, right? Before these players started showing out, I believe they initiated the toxicity. I do. It's not to say they were bad for TV, because they obviously weren't. They were good for ratings. People like seeing all that messy shit, right? But anyway, that's all I got. If you like the video, bang off on that like button one time. Peace.